And then I've got a cunning plan for what we're going to do after that. And I'll reveal that in a minute. But, can I just say, being a Member of Parliament for Nottingham East, of course, is a massive privilege. But we have a tradition in Nottingham, being a little bit rebellious, sometimes not just taking the established view, but sometimes it needs to be standing up and saying what has to be said. And although for several years we've been on different sides of the political chamber, my neighbouring colleague in Broxton has been a beacon of hope for those who want people to stand up and speak their minds, and she's stood up in the face of so much abuse and so much threats in circumstances where many of the rest of us would have just said, enough, I'm just going to walk away and do it. But she doesn't take that view. She stands up and she says truth to power, and that is exactly what we need at this particular time. Ladies and gentlemen, can I introduce Anna Soubry?
In my home city. Chris, I think, forgets this sometimes, but the reason I am, I think, as I am, is I'm actually from Worksop. It's really tough for Worksop. But we're not just about Nottingham, of course. We've heard from our magnificent candidates. We have representatives from Derbyshire, I know are here, from Leicestershire, Lincolnshire, and even Northamptonshire. So thank all of you for coming along on what is meant to be a bank holiday Monday. And you may, I hope you don't now say, I don't know why I came. You know why you came. You know why we are all here. We're all here because we believe that our great country has made a terrible mistake. We made that mistake almost now 3 years ago in the summer of 2016, when 52% of those people that voted for us to leave the European Union. And we now know not just all the falsehoods, not just the tricks, and the blatant lies that people were told. We know that fears and prejudices were preyed upon in order for people to be conned, as so many were, not all of them, but many were, in for voting for us to leave the European Union. We now know about the dodgy money and the foreign bots that influenced our great democracy on a scale that we've never seen before. And if there was more we've heard from Emma Jane, spoken from the heart with complete honesty. And many of us know, not just MPs, like the great MPs that we've heard from, but from other people who go out, and my friends are here from the People's Bank in Nottingham, Susan and Linda are here, but we're out there, they're out there every Saturday. They go to Ashfield, they go to Mansfield, they make the case for the people's vote. And usually we're out in the Market Square in Nottingham, and the thing that is overwhelmingly the case is that people are changing their minds. And damn it, they have a right to change their minds. We're a democracy. But something's happened to this great country of ours. It's as if you're not allowed to have a point of view anymore on Brexit. The 48% who have been sidelined, stuck on the side, abused, and almost told to shut up and go away. And finally, people are standing up and saying, no, not in my name. This is not my country. I bet you felt, as I did, real shame when you heard Joe talked about the abuse, and I wish he were alone, but he's not. I have constituents who said the same story. Not just EU nationals, but constituents with brown skins who've lived here for generation upon generation, who've been abused and spat at in the street. This is not our country. This is not our country, and we will not allow this to be our country. And as Joan has said, it's in our hands, and we're going to stand up and we're going to fight for what we believe is right. Youngsters, you are young in my terms. The thing that we find, Susan and Linda and all the others mixed here as well, what we find is the older Leave voters who are saying, I've I've listened to my children, I've listened to my grandchildren, and now I understand it's about their future. And as you've heard from so many of our great speakers, the future of our country is in the European Union. It has conveyed huge benefits on our country, as you've heard. It's not just about trade. That's incredibly important, of course. But it's about that free movement of people. And we're proud of free movement. We're proud of immigration that has conveyed for generations benefit to our country. And it's about peace, as Joan has said. But it's like Angela said, it's about what we are, what we say about our country. Are we looking outwards? Are we looking to the future? Or are we looking inwards and thinking about a past that actually never existed? And we're here because we love our country. And we've heard that expression about us being patriots, but not nationalists. But we love our country, and we have a right to say we believe people have made a mistake. And we believe in democracy. And we believe that people should be able to change their mind. And we believe that people should have a say. Now we have a bit of a better idea of what Brexit looks like. That is why, without exception, and unlike any other political party, 100% of our MPs, 100% of our supporters believe in a people's vote, remain on the ballot paper and getting out there and fighting for Remain. No other political party has that 100%. That is one of the features that makes this party different from all the others. But we know it's not just about Brexit. Now, some people say, where are your policies on education, on health, on defence, on policing, all the very important issues which are being subsumed by this nightmare of Brexit? And of course, we are going to base, as you've heard, our policies on evidence, not on ideology. And of course, we are going to get out and talk to people at events just like this. And by the way, we think experts might actually be rather useful in determining. You know, we're not at the beginning of a campaign where you're going out to seek to change people's minds. We're in the end game of a campaign, and Kate knows this more than many people because she's a great campaigner. So pleased to see Kate Godfrey on the top of the list. And you're all brilliant. I just thought I'd put that because she has real campaigning experience. And Kate knows we're in actually the final stages of the campaign. There's never been anything like this before. You know, the beginning is actually the end of the campaign, and our trick is to get that vote out on May the 23rd. But you know, we're not just about Brexit. That's important. Big issue facing our country, the biggest issue since the Second World War. We're also about changing British politics because it's broken, as Chris said. And people in this country are fed up to the back teeth with the old way of doing politics. Politics and policies based, as I say, on ideology. Spin. The lack of honesty that Joe talked about, just giving the example of how previous leaders have reacted to the European Union, and doing backroom stitch-up deals. People are fed up with that. They want change. That's why we're here. We're a new party. We're all about change. That's what Change UK is all about. But look at what's going on. As Mike Gapes has been telling us, we're in the most bizarre situation where a Labour Party, the Labour Party, with Barry Gardner, one of the most important job in the shadow cabinet, actually admits that the Labour Party is in the process of bailing out the Conservatives, not just to facilitate, but to enable Brexit to take place. That is an appalling indictment of the Labour Party and indeed how broken our politics is. That's why it about the state and the Conservative Party. But we all have lives. We have, and with a cabinet that really is, with few exceptions, a cabinet of total incompetence. And how bad things have got. It is, I accept, alleged, it is alleged, the former Defence Secretary leaked from the National Security Council. That's a first. And it's appalling. But it's actually worse than that. Because it wasn't done on a high point of principle. It was done for one reason only. Blatant, naked, personal ambition. That's the You know who is waiting in the wings. Boris Johnson. Calm down, friends. Boris Johnson, absolutely determined to implement the one thing that you were promised that was actually credible by the Leave campaign. That we would not leave without a deal. That's what we were promised. We would not leave without a deal. And that's exactly what Boris intends to do if he becomes our next Prime Minister. The ultimate disaster for this country, the thing that will make us more worse off than any form of Brexit, and any form of Brexit will make us worse off. If you don't believe me, the government's done some impact assessments on it. The government's in favour of Brexit. Any which way you cut it, Brexit will make us worse off. Boris Johnson and his crew, who now have captured the Tory party, want that hard, no-deal Brexit. And again, it's up to us to stand up and make the case against it and demand that people's vote. Now, as you know, I left the Tory party, and it's for very well-rehearsed reasons, which I'm not going to go over again. I'm just going to be honest with you, because I think people want that honesty in politics, right? And I do tend to speak my mind. But at least what you see is what you hear. So when I knew that the Tory party had left me, because it has, it's left me, right? I had to think, well, what do I do next? And I'm going to be very honest with you. I suppose I could have sat as an independent. And of course, the first political party I joined was the Liberals. I was in Worksop, 17, joined the Liberals. Can I tell you this quick story? We've got time, Chris.
Not really, but carry on.
No, don't repeat this, but it's just that the Libs, typical Libs, absolutely brilliant campaigners, turned up at our house and stuck this poster in the hedge. And my mum was a proper firm Tory, had met my father at the Young Conservatives rate. David, look what they've done. He was becoming part of the time. Look what they've done. These Liberals have come along. They've stuck a poster in the hedge. Tell her, David. Take it out. My father said, I'm telling you now, Francis, it's staying, because even I'm thinking about voting for the Liberals. Anyway, but, so, first political party I joined was the Liberals. And of course, I worked with the Lib Dems in government. I consider Joe Swinson a friend of mine. And it was a pleasure serving in that coalition government, working cross-party. And I'd also spent 2 years with Chuka Ramuna, working first of all in the all-party parliamentary group with the EU relations, and with my dear friend Chris Leslie, getting to know Chuka, getting to know Chris, and then forming the People's Vote. And having decided that the Tory party had left me, I didn't need to think very long about what to do next, because I knew I had more in common with Chuka and with Chris than with anybody else, not just because of our views on Brexit, but because of their vision for the change that is needed in our politics and their vision of the future of this great country. And that's why I didn't hesitate to join forces with these great, brilliant people who left their party and then formed Change UK. And I think that needs to be put absolutely on the table, that we are new, we are different, and let's be honest, if the Remain parties were going to achieve the things that needed to be achieved since the referendum, we would have seen it by now. And I believe we are the party that offers that change, offers that real new way of doing politics, and that's our realignment that we have to have. And that's why we formed this party. That's why we've got 70 candidates. And obviously I'm biased. Obviously the East Midlands candidates are by far the best in the entire country. But no, they are all absolutely outstanding candidates, and I can tell you now, I'm not going to say to anybody, don't vote for a Change UK candidate, vote for them. The length and breadth of this country Get out on May the 23rd and vote for Change UK. It's the only way to deliver a people's vote, to deliver Remain. Get out there and do everything we can to get these brilliant people elected.
Because I think we can't get everybody here without having a little bit of interactivity. Anna and I will try our best to field those. And then what I'm going to propose is quite novel, because we've already had quite a novel event, getting you to move chairs from the smaller room to this bigger room. And what we're going to do is, after this, we are all going to go down to the Market Square, to the Brian Clough statue. We'd love you to join us. If you can't, that's absolutely fine, but if you can, we've got a box full of leaflets. We're going to just hand it and say hello to a few people down there, so that's coming in about 2 or 3 minutes after a few questions. So, I've only got this microphone as well, we're going to have to hand it round. Shall I ask this gentleman here, and then let's take it in threes. I'll hand it over.
Hello, my name's Michael and I'm coming from Peterborough today. The thing that just worries me is if we get a split amongst yourselves, the Lib Dems and the Greens. If you've got two candidates, how are you going to do it? Because Sugar didn't seem to want to get their volumes. I don't know, we only know what we've read in the media about this. And is it possible that there could be local deals between candidates, that one of them might withdraw, so that somebody goes through back to voting room?
Good question, but forgive me, it's a complete distraction. And we're falling into a terrible trap here. We're not in competition against each other. We're about standing up, doing what we think is the right thing to do, and that is to support People's Vote, Remain, to support Change UK. I'm not into backroom deals, sir. Make that very clear. And let me make something else clear. No formal offer was ever made, to my knowledge, by any other party whatsoever. You know the electoral rules don't allow you to go in unless you register as a political party. So that has to be slayed as a big mystery that has been put out there. And we selected our 70 candidates in all good faith. And I believe in each and every one of them, because I believe in this new way of doing politics and doing politics. And so I am not going to say to a single person they should not vote for a Change UK candidate, and I am not going to get involved in backroom deals. I don't think that's what the British people want anymore, and I think we've got 70 brilliant candidates. Vote Change UK. That's the way we are going to sort out the Brexit mess. It's the only way forward.
Thank you very much. My name is Pauline Green. I have been in the Labour Party for 42 years. I was for 10 years a Labour and cooperative member of the European Parliament, 5 years leader of the Socialist group in the European Parliament. And one thing that hasn't been said is to contest the issue that Europe is wholly undemocratic and everything is foisted on us. Because during my 5 years, I actually tabled the motion of no confidence in the European Commission. And 20 minutes after I persuaded the Socialist group to vote against them, they all resigned, the European Commission resigned. It can be done, and Europe has some things that we've learned from. And to my knowledge, during the time that I was in the European Parliament, I was 6 years in the NEC of the Labour Party. We learned things from the European Union and put them into practice here in the UK. So I wanted to come and hear today your commitment to the People's Vote, which I've strongly supported, and which we were, my partner Bob and I persuaded the co-op movement to vote in favour of it at its annual conference. And I also wanted to hear your strong commitment to remaining in the European Union. I could not vote Labour for the first time in 40 years at the local elections. There were no other candidates. Labour, Conservative and Green, and I voted Green. I will not vote again for any party that is not committed to remaining in the European Union.
to the Labour movement, to the Labour Party, but principally to her constituents and to the people of the whole of the European Union, and to have a former leader of the Labour group and Socialist group of the European Parliament come and make those comments today. I'm really humbled by the fact that you've done that, and it is incredibly powerful that you've been able to speak. My view, very strongly, is that if there is a European parliamentary election, let's not be bashful about it or sort of grumble about it. Let's embrace it. We want Britain to have its voice around the table. We should be rule makers, not rule takers. That is the principle stand we need to take.
Hi, I'm Abigail. I'm a student journalist in Nottingham. I was just wondering how you think the local election results sort of reflect your success thus far in the campaign.
I think we're going to have to wrap up.
Yeah, I mean, I think the big story was that British politics is broken. I mean, you only have to look at the surge, not just in the Lib Dem vote. Let's remember the Lib Dems, of course, did well. They should have done well because in 2015 they did so badly. So in my constituency, absolutely, they won back in Bramford, and in 2015 it was, a real shock they never lost it. But the real story, I think, was the rise of the independents. It was quite phenomenal. We saw it in this city, you saw it in the neighbouring constituency of Ashfield in the north of Nottinghamshire, you saw it in other counties across the East Midlands. And it is, I have no doubt, it is an absolute rejection of the two parties and the broken nature of British politics. But, one of the things that's really disturbed me is the narrative from the media that somehow people in places like Broxtowe who voted for the Lib Dems in Ramker were voting and saying, get on and do Brexit. And I go pay tribute to a guy who stood in Broxtowe who was in the Labour Party who left. And not only did he win in his seat as an independent, he topped the poll. I've got to say to that Melissa, because Melissa is putting together all of the people working with Kate who want to get involved in this fantastic campaign, because we do need you. It's not just, it is in your hands, quite literally, not just to vote, not just to support us, but to go out. There's activities being planned all through the next few weeks. There's a role for everybody to play. So she's sitting here and she's brilliant. She also sells some great tea and she's a constituent of mine.
And I vote for Melissa. Thank you very much, Melissa. Finish. What we're going to do now is, those of you who are able to join us, we're going to walk and talk as we go down to the Brian Clough statue. We're going to hand out a few leaflets. Please come and join us. We'd love to answer more of your questions en route.